My name is Harry. I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is January 5th, 2026. It is 3:03 a.m. So we're going to continue with Harry's security. Alright, so this is the first tweet. If the royal don't have any control over security, why did they first promise the Sussex's security for a year back in 2020? Is the claim Elizabeth made an empty promise? Henry VIII is making reference to when the first debacle, okay, after Harry, they kick Harry out, they're gonna do 1 year review and all of that, and out of nowhere they remove his security. So that's what she's making reference to. At least that's what I understand. So she retweeted this back in 2023, December 5th, 2023. The decision to strip Prince Harry of his security was taken while the Duke of Sussex was a full-time working member of the royal family and plainly still in the Warwick cohort. They were willing to risk Harry and Archie's lives just to protect Rupert. Okay, let's see here. Oh my God. You could pause and read. Should I read it? Should read Fatima KC for Harry told an initial public part of proceeding. Quote, Fatima, wasn't that Harry's lawyer regarding his security? I think so. All right. I have Omid tweet that shows that. Just look on the screen because I think I have a screenshot of it. This case is about the right to safety and security of a person. There could not be a right of greater importance to any of us. She told the court Warwick's written policies showed, quote, the unlawful and unfair treatment of Harry. The barrister said a crucial part of Warwick's approach was analysis carried out by the Risk Management Board, but added, in this case, Warwick chose not to follow its own written policy. Warwick chose not to do the RMB risk analysis. Ms. Fatima said Warwick had chosen a far inferior procedure in relation to the critical safeguards built into its policies, claiming it was the first time that Warwick has ever decided to deviate from this policy in this way. The lawyer said Warwick's decision was taken when the Duke was a full-time working member of the royal family and plainly still in the Warwick cohort. Ms. Fatima said Warwick had failed to tell Harry, who now lives in North America with wife Meghan and their children Archie and Elizabeth, he was not being treated consistently and equally with others, nor why. Warwick has delegated responsibility from the Home Office over the provision of protective security arrangement for members of the royal family and others with involvement from the Metropolitan Police, the Cabinet Office, and the royal household. In written argument, Ms. Fatima said the impact on the UK's reputation if he was harmed should have been taken into account. She said Warwick should have considered the impact that a successful attack on the claimant will have bearing in mind his status, background, and profile within the royal family, which he was born into and which he will have for the rest of his life, and his ongoing charity work and service to the public. Oh my God, too much to read. Okay, let me just read what's on the line. Sir James said there are infinite public resources for state-provided protective security, and that it was for Warwick to decide who it took responsibility for. Warwick has treated the claimant as a person who falls outside of Warwick cohort, but who nonetheless enters the court occasionally when in Britain. Alright, so you could pause and read everything. Let's see. Oh my God, there's more. Okay, so that's the one I just read. Sir James Eddy argued that there are infinite public resources for state-funded security, and therefore Vivek was to decide who gets it and doesn't, except Prince Harry offered to pay for his and his family's security whenever they came to the UK, and this was denied. Yeah, I remember that. I just read that. Prince Harry and Princess Meghan were showing up to perform their royal duties a month after their security had been taken from them. They are too good for that family. Right? Yeah, that. February 2020. Vivek removed Prince Harry's security. March 2020. Prince Harry and Meghan's at Commonwealth Day service as official working royal. Vivek makes the dubious argument this was about a change in work. Oh my God. That's a freaking... Okay. That's too much. Okay. I thought it was a few. So let's see this one, and then they even told him to drop the case against Murdoch or else. When they chose to side with Murdoch. The spare and his family were disposable. The evilness of it all. Yeah. All right, let's listen to this.
A leak, or who leaked what to whom, whether the Sun were right to publish, where they got their information from. It's more a question of the relationship between a father and his son breaking down, and the fact that we have now heard that Harry was told that unless he withdrew these allegations that he made, and he named an official, unless he withdrew that allegation, his allowance would be stopped. And when he said he wasn't going to withdraw the allegation, he wanted to pursue the case against the Sun newspaper, his allowance was stopped. So I think we've seen essentially where this very, very serious rift in the royal family got to the point of a leak, or who leaked
Okay,
what
it's starting
to who.
all over. I need to have this by itself because I have a screenshot of something making reference to that as well. All right, so this was back in 2023. The squad are bringing those things back. All right, Charles the Cruel knew the dangers Prince Harry, Meghan, and Archie faced, yet Charles micromanaged to strip his so-called beloved son his security, evicted them from Frogmore, a servant cottage they renovate with their own money by the Queen Elizabeth II. King Charles III also cut off any funding. Shame. All right, wickedly cruel. This is new. Some of the... Okay, they're pretty much back in 2023. This is new. They had downgraded Harry's security when he was still a working member of a royal family. Wow, just wow. Now we really understand why they fled. William kicked them out. They were being set up to be harmed. Yeah. Look what happened in New York. Okay, if the security was removed by order of King Charles, let it be recorded by the court so that there is no ambiguity like there was with Princess Diana. If Charles did this, he should own it. This is why Harry was going to court for everything. All right, so this, I need to record it by itself. Let's go to the next tweet. I think this was a long thread. I skip a lot, okay? All right, so this is Erica. I usually love her analysis. She's always spot on. It's almost 3 minutes. I agree with Erica. If true about security being granted, INVICTUS game was the deciding factor, which makes me wonder if this wasn't another chess move by Harry when the IG board chose Birmingham over other location. But the fact they won't let him pay means leak will happen. Okay, so let's listen. If you part 1 of this recording, I recorded a few minutes ago. Once it reached 30 minutes, I stopped. And I did a long rant at the beginning. I was like, yes, there's a lot of things being at play here. INVICTUS and many other things. And the UK wants to look good. So certain things has to give. And especially with the UK remove itself with the debacle that America put itself with Venezuela. So there's a lot of things being at play. Go watch the first part.
Hi everyone. So let's talk about my least favorite subject when it comes to Harry and Meghan, and that is their security. So there's a strong rumor floating around here that in a few weeks we're going to hear the final decision of the RAVEC reassessment about Harry being able to receive taxpayer-funded security. He did try to pay it himself. They told him no, he has no right to pay for it. So now it's the British taxpayer who are going to have to foot the bill if Harry comes into the UK, and this also extends to his wife and children. So they're saying that he won, and they're going to do the announcement in a few weeks. But this is why I am not surprised. I'm going to tell you why. All of this is about Invictus.
Yep.
I don't think this is because, oh, Charles is dying and, you know, mending a family drama, blah, blah, blah. I think this has to do with Invictus because the UK government invested heavily in Invictus coming to Birmingham.
Okay, I document this, okay, from the Netherlands Invictus. If you go on our port of view service, where I document, where I said, oh my God, the UK didn't even pop up their participant, the players from the UK. You didn't see anything. It was near the end of the Netherlands Invictus. Someone from one of those offices, is it Home Office? I don't know. I'll show you the thumbnails of that video, or probably the person as well. Okay, and I was like, it's after the Invictus was done, someone from the UK, whose whatever office he was in, came and said something. And I was like, my God, now the game is over. Now you're saying all those right things. Where were you during the game where the participant needed the extra boost? Okay, you know, when people are, you know, cheering for them, it raised their, I don't know, their skills level, whatever, to pop them up. You didn't hear any of this from nobody of position of power from the UK. None. I literally point that out.
To never, ever give up. I'm really proud that the Invictus Games enables our wounded, injured and sick veterans to continue to enjoy the camaraderie of life in the armed forces community. Even more importantly, it's one of the ways we can support them in their recovery and rehabilitation. Of course, we owe our armed forces personnel and veterans so much, and it's absolutely amazing to see the support they've received from friends and family here in The Hague, from armed forces personnel cheering them on, from operations around the world, and from supporters of Team UK watching all the action from home. As the games draw to a close, I want to really congratulate every Team UK competitor for their resilience over the last few years, for their dedication to their training and recovery, and the humbling spirit they've shown during these games. You are the embodiment of Invictus. You are unconquered.
Then comes, I believe, the next Invictus. I think it was Germany. And then out of nowhere, this guy from a different person, but who held the same position of the previous Invictus, who came at the end of the Invictus, said something. And he said something about they're gonna spend a whole bunch of money to bring Invictus back. And I'm like, with all those issues that's going on in the UK, you know, hungriness, homelessness, all sort of things that the people in the UK is facing, and this guy is gonna spend that much to bring Invictus to the UK?
So it's fantastic news today that the Chancellor is giving us £26 million in order to put a bid in for the Invictus Games to come to the United Kingdom. Now, when I said I wanted this to be the best country in the world to be a veteran, I want us to become global leaders in recovery from conflict. And there's no greater institution in this country that's done that than the Invictus Games. I want to work hard now to put in a really world-class bid to bring these games to the UK and have a festival of recovery around that event. I want us to lead the world when it comes to veterans care, and this gives us a really good hook going forward to make sure that's the case.
I raised that as well. And at the end, it was the United States and the UK who had the last choice to for Invictus to choose who's gonna host it. And then for me, I was not for the at that time. Biden was in office. Everything looked hunky-dory, unlike what's happening in the US right now. And I was like, I wish South Korea had gotten the Invictus. That was my choice, and it still is my choice. But even though it doesn't matter anymore until the next selection. That was my choice for the next Invictus. But it went to the UK. A lot of squaddies were very upset about that, knowing how they treated Harry. So, and I think the place that they're gonna do it, you know, let me not say, I have an idea, but I might be wrong with that. It's a place that had already have places for people in the military and things like that, but let me leave it alone. Yes, I truly believe it's because of Invictus. Harry used his leverage, which is what I said in video 1, his leverage leading up to the 1 year for the Invictus, which should be happening sometime this year, okay, 2026, and Invictus is gonna be in 2027. So they're gonna do leading to the 1 year. So Harry probably said, I'm not gonna do that if I don't have the security. That's what I think. And Harry, on the other hand, uses his leverage, okay, because the UK want publicity. They want positive coverage. All right, so should I start all over? All right, let me just continue.
That's not a lie. I'm not making that up. They did. Google it. And so because they are the ones who put the money up to get this game back to England, they want all the return of their investment.
That's right.
Only way
The Chancellor is giving us £26 million.
They can ensure that they get that back is if they can promise Harry and Meghan that they are guarded when they come back.
She went even further than me with her analysis. I say a lot, but she said less, but more coherent than me. But I agree with her. Their investment, they want that back. I agree with her. But I don't know if Squad is going to be traveling to the UK, though. Let's see.
The media is going to eat off of this. Local businesses are going to eat off of this. Fashion houses are going to eat off of this because you know Meghan dresses with intention. You know she go throw her whole nasty outfit on from England. So it's just what's going to happen if they can ensure their safety, and they're not going to play games and not only making it difficult for Harry to come back, but they're not going to make it even harder for Meghan not to come back. They need them both. Oh my God, if they can get glimpses of the children, the better. Although I think the children should be children. We don't need to see them.
That's right.
Let it go, people.
That's right.
Let it go. It's giving creepy vibes. But I should have known from the jump that the UK government was going to look at Charles and go, look, we don't care about your family drama. We need the money. We invested in this. Go sit your ass down somewhere. And it's great if this were to happen. It's great that Charles actually moved the fuck out the way and allowed this to happen, because that was the issue before. The issue was never that Harry wanted his father to jump in and give him preferable treatment. He wanted him to just let them do their jobs. So it's looking like some people are finally doing their jobs. Go team. And the security is going to be reinstated. But yes, that is why people Invictus game, not because of family reunions.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what do you guys think?
I agree with her.
Bye.
I agree with her. All right. She said some of the things, you know, I went further, how that guy, I don't have it by itself. It's embedded in one of my videos where that guy came out and said they're gonna invest and try. He said the number, the amount of they're gonna spend to bring Invictus back.
The Chancellor is giving us £26 million.
Okay, but the Commonwealth, they had the Commonwealth. What happened to the Commonwealth game? It was supposed to be going somewhere. Is it somewhere in Australia, or did it happen? And then somewhere in Birmingham, I think, some part in the UK said they will host it, but they will scale down a little bit. Did that happen? I don't know. All right, let's see here. Also, there's speculation that the UK government may seek to use Harry in a low-key diplomatic capacity, which dovetails with James' return to London and change. And and change of roles to overseeing all international travel related to Archewell Philanthropies expanded global interests. Harry and Meghan stay 5 steps ahead. That is true. James, yes. Did I share that with you guys? Where James left Archewell. So there's probably that. Yes, I agree with this. I agree, and they're doing this now because they want him and Meghan to attend the 1 year to go kickoff. Yep, that's that. Yeah, pretty much everyone will eat off the Sussex return as a family. There will be wall-to-wall international attention on the UK. Exactly. All right, let's see here. Prince Harry can only let his guard down around people whose hostility toward his wife and children is visceral. Given the current climate, and trusting their safety in England would be an unnecessary and dangerous gamble. These are the same forces that help undermine Sandrihgham, so on what rational basis should he trust them now? Meghan's participation does not require physical presence. She can attend virtually or provide pre-taped messages for the opening and closing of the games without exposing herself or her children to harm. Prince Harry's Spencer family, standing beside him, offer both moral support and measure of protection that Kensington Palace has repeatedly failed to provide. Under no circumstances should the Duchess of Sussex, Prince Archie, or Princess Elizabeth be exposed to the predictable racist hostility and will be amplified by palace machinery and Camilla's inner circle. Protecting his family is not defiance, it's responsibility. I agree with that as well. Let me pause this. It's all about INVICTUS and the money-hungry UK government looking to score brownie points and global recognition and forgiveness. They can't be trusted. It's always about money, power, privileges, and control with the monarchy. Charles seems to be playing an angle to get all of Harry's projects pawn side. Remember, they still haven't freed Sandrihgham. And one of the videos I did yesterday, something about Sandrihgham, they said Harry's not coming back. It's like, okay, we know that. Next tweet. Oh my God. Okay, I need to finish this. I don't want to do another video. Friendly reminder that the Sandringham Agreement, including security for Harry and Meghan, this was unilaterally cancelled and their location leaked to the British tabloid by Charles and Willie in order to force Harry and Meghan back as slaves and scapegoat. So that's from Spare. Meghan asked me one night, "You don't think they ever pull out security, do you?" Never. Not in this climate of hate and not after what happened to my mother. I kiss his chubby little cheeks, tickle him, then glance down at my phone to see the text from the head of our security team. Lloyd, he needed to see me. All right, you could read everything, but I'm just reading the highlighted part. Oh my God, too much. I carried Archie across the garden and headed him to Meghan, then went across the soggy grass to the cottage where Lloyd and the other bodyguards were staying. We sat on a bench, both of us wearing puffer jackets, waves rolling gently in the background. Lloyd told me that our security was being pulled. He and the whole team had been ordered to evacuate. Surely they can't. Okay, I will tend to agree, but they are. So much for the year of transition. The threat level for us, Lloyd said, was still higher than for that of nearly every other royal, equal to that assigned the Queen, and yet the word had come down and there was to be no arguing. I rang Pa. He won't take my call. Just then I got the text from Willie. "Can you speak?" Great. I was sure my older brother, after our recent walk in the Sandringham garden, will be sympathetic that he'll step up. He said it was a government decision, nothing to be done. Yeah, they did everything in the background, so finger don't point to them. But Harry did everything to expose all of them, going to court and everything. This needs to, the squad have receipt. Okay, and Tyler Perry stepped in and rescued them, freedom flight. Okay, it was always about getting rid of them, especially our biracial Princess Meghan. They thought she would bow and bend the knee at the Craven statue, an act of slavery that belittled the African to the European royals. Instead, she stood proud, spoke her mind, and worked power. And did Prince Charles, the Cruel, and Willie the Pegger were the culprit here? Yeah, that's it. This is why I always keep on saying it was William who kicked them out. And my humble opinion, you know what? Let me pause and put that screenshot. So this is what I wrote here. This is why I always, okay, I have enough character. I could write it completely. This is why I always put this screenshot of this article whenever I read that Harry and Meghan left. That one here. It was always William who wanted them out. And the Oprah interview, Harry and Meghan said they wanted to stay. And spare, Harry said he wanted 50-50. But everything was already written. Thus the printer situation. Alright, so there's that. Alright, let's go to the next tweet. Did I finish read? That took a while to get all of this. And did Prince? Okay, so there's my response here. Lord, that family is wicked. The worst. The royal family literally wanted harm to come to Meghan, Harry, and Archie. Yeah, I mean, for Archie, I always think of the South Africa fire in Archie's room. If these people could think of doing something like that to a child who cannot even defend himself, my goodness, just think about it. Okay, I mean, Harry's own father wouldn't take his calls, and his brother, Prince William, was like, nope, nothing can be done. Basically saying, if you die, Meghan dies, or your child's, oh well. Yeah, that's pretty much that. My goodness. The squad have receipt. There's more comment, but let's move on. I have someplace to go later today, so, and I need to take a shower before I wake up the kids. They go back to school after the holiday. Too much information. Next tweet. So now, pointing down here, has been suspended because of his alleged video on YouTube about mold. My. What a way to tell us that's really you. Never mind, it's still available on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. Alright, so Benjamin Elika. Is that the same person in one of the videos that I did yesterday who put a video, a YouTube video? I didn't share it, but I think I put the link in the description if you guys wanted to check it out. I don't know. This looked like the same person. Okay, yep, that means everything he had in there was her. 500%. Okay. Alright. Let me pause this. I just watched his YouTube video of the mole last night. It was so informative and revealing. These derangers can run, but they can't hide, and karma is circling the drain. It will have been, according to Taz. Benji will be back. This is BS. So they blacked them, right? Okay, I don't know. Think the video gone. I follow him, and there are loads, but not the one that reveal her identity. Okay, posted the first one on my account earlier. Benji got suspended. Yep, seems Mole doesn't line the truth about her being shared. He should be able to approve because everything he posted was already in the public domain and available for everyone to read. Right, the fact that she stays live while he gets suspended, in spite of all the blatantly slanderous content she posted 24/7, 365 days, is absolutely mind-boggling. She just admitted to being who he says she was, though. Okay, I reported a meme of Harry and Meghan portrayed as Gulliwag, but apparently it's absolutely fine and doesn't violate the rule. Shaking my head. It's bad that checking the report, so that's why nothing gets done. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so I think I'm done with some of the Harry security thing. So the last few tweets that I have nothing to do with them. Random videos.
Tanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.
You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.